I would be interested to hear your perspective on what is Plexus for you? What is it about? And why do you think it's special, or it's very something that equips us for the times we're in, where a lot of transformation and shedding is happening? And yeah.
So Plexus is a name I gave to a certain body of work that I've been researching for some 20 years, over 20 years already. And it comes from my fascination with sound and with voice and with what free voices can do and what is actually a voice. Why do we have a voice? What can we do with this voice? So it's very much around creating kind of framework, both of philosophy as well as practices that help us to get in touch with our voices, to be in relationship with our voices, to understand it, to help it fulfill and fulfill the whole range of expression, of possible expression, or as much of it as we can. And I would say that my inspiration, or when I started to do this work, I was very inspired by the work of Alfred Wolfson, who the legend says that he got buried under bodies of soldiers in the First World War, and the voices that he heard there opened his mind to what's possible with the human voice. And his students later on could reach 7 or 8 octaves, like the whole piano, basically, which is insane. So the voice, I tell this story just because the inspiration is, the voice is so much wider and wilder and more interesting than if I sing beautifully according to the music industry or not, or if I'm talented enough to be in a choir and have the solo. And we've made the voice into such a thing that we can measure, like we did to the body, basically. But the voice is really, to me, a kind of a portal, a way to connect to my inner being and to let that inner being touch reality. And so Plexus for me has a couple of layers. So the first layer is about getting to know sound, reality, and our voices, and helping us to get in touch with our voices and liberate our voices. And then the second part is about mapping. It's about understanding different parts of our body and how to create an instrument, basically, how to organize the instrument. The third layer is about interacting, relating in resonance. So how do we create relationships that are based on resonance and on sound rather than on ideas and visuals and identities, right? Because then we have the separation of what we think we know about someone versus what actually is happening between us in the felt sense. And these 3 layers are actually preparing us for what I'm so passionate about, which is the Plexus work. And Plexus is literally a weave. So it's a weaving, it's a coming together of voices or forces from different directions into one place. And that when you sing in a group, like 5 or 500 people, and you weave your voices, you sort of create one sound. And that one sound has many components. So this one sound has this, I would say, horizontal layer, which is like what is happening in the group and how each of us is a part of the whole. But it also has a vertical layer, which is what is moving from up and down. Like, what is the inspiration? What are we sending? What are we receiving? And both of these aspects of the plexus are interesting to me. And for me, the potential of this work is really reactivating, remembering, really, and art of prophecy, an art of, for me at least, it's a non-religious type of worshiping where I can really connect to my own center point, star, and inspiration as an individual, as well as weave my energies and voice into a plexus, into a weave that can create, I would say, a satellite dish of sorts, or a receptor of sorts that can receive much more information and guidance and love and whatever we need to face what is happening in reality right now. And I think that technology is really called for in these times. We have a lot of information duplicated, available in duplication, but they're real nourishing information, which is our true connection to our own soul and to the transpersonal aspects of ourselves, cannot be found on the internet and cannot be found in AI, not directly at least. But through the voice, we actually have a vehicle, and it's like a hose, right? It's like a channel. The voice is a channel. And it's a channel for me, first and foremost, for me to send and to receive. And so I just think this, the potential of the voice is really untapped, and that it's time for us to discover what's possible with this thing of the voice. Yeah.
That's so interesting for me, like these two aspects that you talked about, to, on the one hand, as you said, in Plexus, to be part of the whole, but to still be tuned into your own channel, into your own uniqueness, maybe. It's still like, and I can imagine that I mean, that's life force, right? That's the big challenge, to hold both of these things. And for me, it would be interesting to know how plexus work or voice work can help us to come to that, because I'm sure it's not like you get into the group and everyone is centered and everyone is creating this unique field, you know?
No. No. But we have to start learning by doing, and we cannot wait for everything to be right or to be, I don't know, healed enough or free enough to start. We have to, and it is like that when you have a hose for the garden outside that has not been used for a few months, and you open the water, then first the water that's going to come out, they're going to be muddy or dirty water. And that's just part of the work. And this is why doing this over time and practicing in once a week or again and again, and really investing the effort that can really cleanse that channel. So this is why the 3 layers before the plexus work are there, to kind of bring us, every one of us, into that, let's say, the most free tuning, because we are already free, right, in really who we are, but it's a lot around shedding energetically and like mentally, shedding stuff that are not really, in that sense, us. Yeah, they're false ideas of who we are. So shedding that in order that we can be available to really manifest who we are and emanate who we are. So this is why the 3 preparation layers are there. But I also want to say that there is, we have to take that chance. We have to be pioneering in the sense, because think about a choir. I sang in girls' choir like all my young life and until I was an adult. And we had a conductor, and we had also sheet music where you were told what you should sing. And there was a lot of conventions around how to sing specific type of music, and the conductor telling you what to do. So in that sense, it was easy, right? We were just a soldier within an army of voices and serving this composer's vision. Plexus is not like that. We don't have a conductor in that sense. We can have a facilitator helping the group process, but it's not really their music in that sense. It is their flavor sometimes, but it's not their music. The music is the common collaborative weave of everyone in the room. And it's not easy often to start doing it because it's like, it sometimes sounds like dissonance or like, are people listening? What's going on? And sometimes it's so beautiful and crazy things happen and you see things and you feel things. And so we have to start cultivating. The more we are practicing, we can also start to get to learn the rules of this new game. But it's definitely, we need to understand that we are asking the question, if everyone is free, if I'm free to do whatever I want vocally in this experiment, how do I allow you to be in your maximum freedom and me to be in my maximum freedom and collaborate? How do I not impose a hierarchy that makes things easier, right? But how do I actually allow this hierarchy, natural hierarchy, which is, okay, sometimes someone will shine and sometimes someone else will lead and sometimes someone will support, right? So a lot of times in Plexus, we talk about recognizing these patterns, like, am I now just following because that's the easiest for me and that's my safe zone, and how can I challenge myself and balance tendencies? Or is it like easier for me, like nobody is singing so I'll sing, right? Like so it's a lot about like getting to know your default Einstellung, you would say in German, like my default position, and challenging yourself to balance that with something that's maybe going to expand your possibilities. And that type of singing has the potential to see that in such a clear way and to shift that in such a clear way. And then the resonance in your life is really felt. Like, whoa, now I'm in my relationship with my partner, and I noticed that even here I'm always more comfortable in following than leading. Okay, but I learned that particular gesture already in singing, and so I can let that sort of reverberate and resonate back into every part of my life. So this is basically how it can work, or how it works, yeah.
Cool. And we have this Plexus Voice practitioner training coming up, which is exciting.
Yes.
And I wonder, when people already have a practice, maybe like maybe they already do coaching or psychological work or yoga, how could incorporating, or is it possible to incorporate the voice work in an already existing modality, and how could that maybe even enrich this practice?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's such a great question, because sound reality is not just when we're doing music or singing. Sound reality is any moment, because we are actually becoming more and more aware of vibration. So we're becoming more aware of subtle reality. And then we also become more aware of tone. We become more aware of things like atmosphere, tone, closeness, distance. And especially when you work with people as a coach or as a therapist, these tools that you're going to learn in the training will be super useful for you, because you can really tune into the other person's voice, tune into your own voice, and really receive a lot of information that is beyond the mind, beyond the intellectual. I remember, I don't know if I told you, but I remember I had once a beautiful psychotherapist, trauma specialist actually, that I wanted. And when I started to work on myself therapeutically, I found her, and she was highly recommended. She was older, like 60. And I wanted to work with her. And she said, great, I'm full in my normal clinic, but I have some space in my water clinic. Would you like to come to water sessions? And I'm obsessed with water, so I was, of course, like, yes, of course. And I met her for not many sessions, for a few sessions in like a small therapeutic pool when I was living back in Israel. And it was incredible. Like, I would meet her in the pool, and we would have like a therapy conversation where I would tell about what I'm going through or what I want to look at. And she would engage with me and come closer and come further away. And all that time, the water would be between us. And the pool would move with the conversation. And then maybe at the end, she would do like some kind of movement part in the water, like a watsu kind of something that was somehow related to the talking, which was beautiful. But what really left an impression for me is that how does it feel to be in a space where every vibration is being felt, that level of sensitivity. And the water helped, of course. It was also something that she was carrying in her being, like her type of listening that was transmitting. It's not just the water, because, yeah. But I just want to tell that as an example of like everything that we are doing. You can also, sell computers and have that quality, right? Of what is actually the atmosphere, the tone, what is the vibration, and what are different vibrations that I can feel in my body, and then how to work with that. And then beyond that is, of course, getting like actual tools that can help in doing somatic, energetic, vocal work, meditative work with your clients, to really help regulate, to help dive into the subconscious, to help get in touch with parts of ourselves. And it's going to give a lot of very valuable tools, I think, to work with people in therapeutic or coaching or even teaching capacity, I think. So, yeah.
And I know that for me, when I think about becoming a practitioner or like in the training, it's super important to get into to the practice part, which I can say for myself is like the part where I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? So I'm interested in how is that incorporated into the training, and will I also get support if I don't have an existing practice already with clients, for example, and I'm like in a sea of, okay, where do I find people who are interested to work with me?
Right. So first of all, it's important to remember that the first container you can have is with yourself. And that might be a good place to start, to kind of have a few sessions where you set a timer, where you create a container, where you decide what you want to work on, and then you practice the practices that I'm going to be teaching with yourself. So that's maybe a good place to kind of gain confidence and also learn how to design a container that you can then share with others. Then when you feel you want and you're ready to go and offer this work to people, then you can, of course, start with friends, with family. Just describe what you want to do very simply and invite people to come for an experience without any pretense to do anything. And just, it's a lot about trusting that you want to offer something and that there must be someone who's looking just for that. And so, you're going to be supported in finding those people and how to do this very, very vulnerable thing of saying, I want to give sessions, right? This is already a step for some people. So some people are going to come with a lot of experience already working with people, and some people are going to be like, wow, I don't know how to approach it. And so this is why we have also the one-on-one sessions, because then I can give like a more personalized guidance as to how to do it. But yeah, I mean, there are so many ways, but you need to put yourself out there and send an email or do a post, send a message and express what you are offering, and then wait and see what comes back. So it's a process. As well, we're gonna have a list of people who are interested in receiving free or low cost sessions from trainees, and so we're gonna help connect those together.
That sounds super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have that already. Cool, thank you. Is there anything else you would like to share about? I mean, also you said you're doing this work for over 20 years now, which is like crazy. And what made you want to launch, to offer, to help other people become? Yeah.
First of all, really selfishly, I want to work with people long term. I really want to have 4 or 5 months and maybe longer, because this is just the first step in a longer certification program. But I really want to work deeply and long term with people. And I've been doing a lot of workshops and retreats, and a lot of people have been coming again and again. But I was really craving a container where we can go long term and deep. And my desire was to have a small community of people who are practicing this work, and to allow for each one of the people coming to have their kind of area of research. So basically, it's sort of like what a university professor would do. You know, you are exploring something and you would find people are doing their doctorate and they can help you explore something, you know. So it was kind of a combination with that type of thinking. How do I create sort of a hub for people who want to do voice work, and where I can give like the preliminary kind of framework, and then each of the people can like go and at their own direction, as well as offering, starting to cultivate a kind of common language around how to practice and how to do sessions, and kind of professional guidelines for how to do this work, which I think is really missing often in like voice activations, cacao ceremony type of voice work, where people just do something and yeah, it's not backed by a lot of rigorous experience and study. So yeah, this was my calling to, yeah, I felt like mature enough and able to kind of say, okay, I'm ready to teach this and to have people co-create with me this thing that I've been kind of like cooking alone in my lab, and now it's like, yeah, time to share it. And I really think also like beyond that we are in this really special time, and like within the 5-10 years from now, a lot of the structures that we are seeing as state, like nation states, the ecological, every possible system is going to go through massive radical changes. And we need this grassroots, deep, embodied wisdom to be able to navigate not just the physical challenges, but mostly and mainly the spiritual and emotional and, yeah, I would call it like self-identity challenge. And challenge for me is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow into more of what I am. And so it's, yeah, Plexus is my way to be optimistic about what's going on. Yeah, and to kind of harness it into like, okay, the world is ending. Let's go for the highest dream. Like, what is the thing that I'm dreaming about? And really singing like that, weaving like that together in this way that we've described. Like for me, it's what I'm here for, and it's extremely like, yeah, gives me a lot of hope and light to work in that direction.
Yeah, I also thought that no matter how much the world is crumbling outside, I always have my voice with me, so I always can come back to that, and I can also share it with other people. So it's nice to have that to come back to and to know that it's gonna be there.
Totally. I really resonate with that. For me, on a personal level, really, it has been like first and foremost a big comfort to be able to tune into my own sound and to have like a direct knowing of what is actually going on with me. And not to like just be in the reflection. So this has always been such an important comforter center making vehicle for me, and yeah, I think I just want to share it with more people, share this potential, because it's for every one of us. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too.